Part 2. In this video, I will narrate and use graphics to tell my aunt's story on pay inequity, how it has affected her life, and why it is important to pass the Paycheck Fairness Act. You will learn what happened when my aunt questioned her former employer about pay inequity, lack of training, development, promotional opportunities, and growth. Lastly, after viewing all 4 videos, you will be able to answer whether or not my aunt has lived the American dream. I would like to give you a brief synopsis of my aunt's story. As a teen, she always dreamed of becoming an engineer, but life choices delayed her dream. After being let off from the factory, my aunt decided to go to college after a 10-year absence from high school. At this time, my aunt was divorced and had 2 minor children. She received public assistance while raising her children and pursuing a Bachelor's of Science degree in electrical engineering. In 1995, my aunt was hired by one of the largest automotive manufacturers and received an annual salary of $36,355.68. In 1997, she received a Master's of Science degree in electrical engineering and earned an annual salary of $46,844.26. During this time, a white male coworker told her how much other white engineers earned in early 1998. My aunt visited an African American financial planner who was dismayed to learn that her salary was below market for an engineer. She spoke with her manager, director, and group vice president about lack of training, development, promotion opportunities, and growth. In addition, she spoke about pay inequity and being blacklisted. Her complaints were not resolved but ignored. Later this year, my aunt's manager told the group that the company had decided to sell the division. As months passed, employees left for other companies, but many went to other jobs within this company. However, my aunt had applied for 90 engineering jobs and never received a desired position. One day, an African American engineer told my aunt about an African American director that may help her secure a position within his department. After meeting with the director, she was hired. My aunt worked for him for 1 year, then transferred to an engineering organization with the same company. After working for the new group for 1 year, the manager did not promote my aunt, despite her possessing a master's degree in electrical engineering with 5 years of experience. In March 2000, my aunt met with her human resource representative. She complained to the representative about never being promoted, despite receiving evaluations ranging from excellent to very good, never obtaining positions with increasing responsibilities, and earning below market rate for years. In June 2000, my aunt was promoted to senior project engineer and received a raise of nearly 10% after being promoted. Her market rate increased to $74,520 annually. However, my aunt earned an annual salary of $56,204. For the next few months, she met with the manager, director, and group vice president. Again, her complaints were ignored. My aunt decided to write a report titled Workplace Discrimination: An Employee's Experience, Perspective, and Determination to seek equality. This report was 14 pages, single-spaced, including 15 exhibits, and sent to the president and CEO, a vice president, chairman, vice chairman, 3 board of directors, head of legal department, and 2 members of the NAACP. Within 6 months of sending this 14-page single-spaced report, my aunt was illegally terminated from her job. She sued her former employer in both state and federal district courts. Both cases were dismissed. My aunt appealed in both state and federal appellate courts. Both appellate cases were dismissed. She spent over $27,000 on these cases. Since my aunt's cases were dismissed, her former employer was entitled to over $14,000, originally $19,000, in legal fees. My aunt offered to pay her former employer $100 per month until this debt was paid. In addition, my aunt would pay her attorney $300 per month for costs. Without warning, my aunt's wages were garnished by her former employer at the rate of 20%. She had to file for bankruptcy, which has left her penniless. Then and now, my aunt lives beneath the pale of the American dream. The following graphics will give you my aunt's account of what happened behind the scenes after she mailed the report to the president and CEO and other higher-ranking corporate executives. In American companies, African Americans and Hispanics, non-white, are at the lower rung of the ladder. This fact equates to their low salaries, lack of training, mentoring, developing, and fewer promotion opportunities. Keeping African Americans and Hispanics, non-white, at the lower rung of the societal ladder exists within the federal government as well as the private sector. This is my aunt writing the report to the president and CEO. Here is my aunt mailing the report to the president and CEO and other higher-ranking corporate executives. This is the president and CEO as he angrily reads the report. This is the president and CEO angrily calls the chief of legal affairs. The chief of legal affairs answers the president's call. This is what was said. Hello, this is the president. Hello, Mr. President. We have a problem. What is the problem? A woman sent me a report about not receiving pay equity and being denied opportunities to advance. I need you to take care of it immediately. Consider the problem solved. The chief of legal affairs calls the head of human resources global executive. Head of human resources global executive answering the chief of legal affairs calls. This is what was said. Hello, this is the chief of legal affairs. Hello, chief. I needed to handle a problem. What is the problem? A woman in powertrain sent Mr. President a report about not receiving pay equity. We cannot allow an employee to poison the minds of naive employees. This woman needs to be put in her place. Who is this woman? An African American woman over 40. We need someone of her demographics to handle this problem. I know of 2 women who are enjoying this type of assignment. Can I consider the problem resolved? Yes. Head of Human Resources Global Executive angrily calling the Powerchain Human Resource Executive Director. The Powerchain Human Resource Executive Director answering the head of Human Resource Global Executive's call. This is what was said. Hello, this is the Human Resource Global Executive. Hello, Global Executive. I need you and your director to handle a woman who is causing problems for the president and the company. What is the problem? This woman wrote a 14-page report to the president and CEO about not receiving pay equity and being denied opportunities to advance. Who is this woman? She works under your director in the electrical analysis group. I will take care of her. Some people are never satisfied. She works for a good company. Who cares if she has not received pay equity? Goodbye. Goodbye. Powertrain Human Resource Executive Director angrily calling Powertrain Human Resource Director. Powertrain Human Resource Director angrily answering the Powertrain Human Resource Executive Director's call. This is what was said. Hello, did you receive my email? Yes, I will call a meeting with her tomorrow. I need you to handle this problem. I know and I will. Powertrain Human Resource Director calls the president to say that the matter has been resolved because the troublemaker, my aunt, would be fired. The director mentioned to the president that a manager told her that my aunt was stirring trouble and poisoning the minds of the people in her group by telling them she was underpaid. I will send her an email regarding this matter. My aunt reads an email from the Powertrain Human Resource Director outlining the terms of her illegal termination and thinks about what was discussed in their emails. This is what was said. It has been brought to my attention that you wrote a report to the president CEO of the company and God. I did not write to God. However, if you give me God's email, I will write to him. Since this company is at will, we are offering you a $49,000 severance package. By accepting this package would mean you must give up your right to sue. No, I will not accept $49,000. I will accept $4.9 million. I have not received pay equity in 6.5 years. This company denied me 90 desirable engineering opportunities. I am being fired because I wrote to the president and CEO by utilizing their open door policy. We will not offer you a penny more. You can keep your money and use it for your legal fees. My aunt and her attorney discussing the outcome of both cases in state and federal courts. This is what was said. I would like to sue this company for discrimination based on race, age, gender, but not limited to retaliation. What happened? After 6 years of receiving pay inequity and being denied 90 desirable engineering opportunities to advance, I wrote a 14-page, single-spaced report with 15 exhibits to the president and CEO. I was fired by my African American Human Resources Director, who was a woman over 40 years of age. My human resources representative is a white woman under 40 years of age. I see. The company wanted an African American woman over 40 years of age, like yourself, to terminate your employment. The company did not want it to look like discrimination because both of you are African American. I will sue this company in both state and federal courts. In summary, I would like to restate that my aunt sued her former employer in both state and federal courts. Her cases were dismissed in both courts. She appealed in both courts, and both cases were dismissed in appellate courts. Her attorney was paid $25,000 to appeal both cases and $2,000 in costs. The state judge awarded my aunt's former employer over $14,000 in legal fees. She offered to pay her former employer $100 per month until the debt was paid in full. The company would not accept $100 per month. Instead, they decided to garnish my aunt's wages without notice, which forced her to file Chapter 13 bankruptcy. When she retires in 5 years, her economic losses will total over $1 million in salary and benefits. My aunt wrote to 36 members of the Senate urging for passage of the Paycheck Fairness Act. Today, the Paycheck Fairness Act has failed the House of Representatives and Senate. Pay inequity is illegal, immoral, and wrong. This illustration equates pay inequity to an employer robbing a woman of her earnings each time she cashes her check. This is what was said. Give me your money. Why are you robbing me Why are you robbing me every paycheck, Mr. Employer? I worked hard to feed my family and pay bills. I am divorced with 2 children. At this rate, I will never be able to pursue the American dream. It is simple. You are a lower valued employee. If people like you were paid equally, you would flood suburbs and make people like me feel uncomfortable. If you continue to rob me of my earnings, I will sue you. Ha ha! You will lose because the White House, Senate, House of Representatives, state courts, federal courts, and the Supreme Court all have my back. Each of these government agencies filled my aunt and every working woman. Oakland County Circuit Court, Michigan Court of Appeals, 6th District Eastern Division, the United States Senate, the United States House of Representatives, and the White House. My aunt blames corporations, judges, and members of Congress for allowing women's salaries to swim in the cesspool of injustice. Members of Congress write laws with loopholes to impede a woman's chance of winning pay discrimination lawsuits. Judges find loopholes in the law left by members of Congress for the purpose of ruling against women. Lastly, corporate executives responsible for awarding lower salaries to women are guilty of pay discrimination. This concludes Part 2 on pay inequity. Stay tuned for Part 3.